Airports have a strange way of stretching time. Minutes feel like hours, and thoughts, they don't just pass, they linger. I remember sitting there, in that cold metal chair, my fingers wrapped around a cup of coffee I had already stopped drinking. It had gone cold, just like the patience I was trying to hold on to. I kept checking the screen. Flight delayed. Again. My boyfriend, Arav, was supposed to land an hour ago. I had planned everything. The outfit, the way I'd smile when I saw him, even the way I'd pretend I wasn't counting the days since he left. But now, all I could do was wait. And think. That's the dangerous part. Because when you sit alone long enough, you start noticing things you usually ignore. Like how he hadn't called as often this trip. How his messages felt shorter. Emptier. Like something was missing, but I couldn't quite name it. I sighed and leaned back, closing my eyes for just a second. That's when I heard her voice. Is this seat taken? I opened my eyes and turned my head. She was standing there, a small carry-on beside her, her hair slightly messy like she had been rushing. But there was something calm about her. Grounded. Like she wasn't in a hurry, even in a place built entirely on movement. No, I said, shifting my bag. Go ahead. She smiled. Not the polite kind. A real one. Thanks. She sat down beside me, and for a moment, we didn't speak. Just two strangers sharing silence in a crowded airport. But it didn't feel awkward. It felt easy. She glanced at the departure board, then back at me. Let me guess, she said softly, you've been waiting a while. I let out a small laugh. Is it that obvious? Only because I've been doing the same thing, she replied. I turned toward her slightly. Delayed flight? She nodded. Yeah. Seems like we're both stuck here. I don't know why, but something about that moment felt different. Like this delay wasn't just a delay. Like it was the beginning of something I didn't see coming. We fell into an easy rhythm of conversation, the kind that happens when you meet someone who seems to already know the corners of your mind you usually keep hidden. I'm Mira, she said, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Ria, I replied. We laughed at the simplicity of exchanging names like it mattered, like names could hold the weight of all the unsaid things in our lives. Are you waiting for someone too? She asked, curiosity soft in her tone. Yeah, my boyfriend, I admitted. He was supposed to land an hour ago, but apparently the universe decided I needed more patience today. Mira chuckled. I know that feeling. I'm here for my sister, first time flying solo with her. She's unpredictable. I nodded, smiling. Airports do that to people. Bring out nerves, impatience, or sometimes, revelations. She tilted her head, intrigued. Revelations? I hesitated. There was a part of me I hadn't shared with anyone, the tiny voice that had been whispering doubts about Arav for weeks. But there was something about Mira, her presence, her honesty, that made it easier to speak. I don't know, sometimes waiting makes you think, I said softly. Think about what you really want, who you are, and who you're with. Or maybe shouldn't be with. She studied me for a moment, her eyes curious, warm, like she understood without needing an explanation. That sounds heavy, she said with a playful tilt. But I get it. I've had those moments too. When life stops, even for a few hours, and you see things clearly. Painful truths, messy hearts, the works. I smiled, a little awkwardly, and nodded. Exactly. We talked about everything and nothing, trips we'd taken, movies we loved, the ridiculous quirks of airport food. But beneath it all, there was a current, subtle but unmistakable, that drew me in. I felt it in the way she laughed, in the way her hand brushed her hair nervously when she was thinking, in the way she looked at me, not just seeing me, but noticing me. For the first time that day, I forgot the clock. I forgot Arav. And for a moment, I forgot the life I thought I was supposed to lead. There was only Mira. And I didn't hate it. Time seemed to bend around us. The crowded airport faded into a blur of announcements and rolling suitcases, and all I could see was Mira. We shared stories, secrets even, little confessions that felt too intimate for strangers. She laughed at my awkward jokes, and I found myself leaning in just a little more than necessary, drawn to the warmth in her presence. "Do you travel often?" I asked, trying to sound casual, but my voice betrayed a curiosity that had nothing to do with airports. "Not really," she said, her gaze flicking to mine. "I usually avoid flying alone, but sometimes, circumstances force you into it. You meet interesting people this way, though. Like today." I felt a flutter in my chest, a strange, unfamiliar excitement. She said it as if it were ordinary, but I knew it wasn't. This, whatever this was, wasn't ordinary. I caught her looking at me once, eyes soft, thoughtful. My breath hitched slightly, and I quickly looked away, pretending to check my phone. But there was no pretending for long. She noticed everything. She always noticed. The announcement came for Arav's flight. My stomach twisted. Relief? Anticipation? Or was it dread? "He's here," I whispered, more to myself than to her. Myra's lips curved into a small, understanding smile. "Go on, then. Go to him." And yet, I didn't move. Not immediately. Because suddenly, I realized something unsettling. Waiting for Arav had lost its sweetness. The thought of seeing him, of smiling that rehearsed smile, felt hollow. Empty. I was standing at a crossroads. One path led to familiarity, routine, love I had thought I knew. The other led to Mira, unexpected, unpredictable, intoxicating. I glanced at her, and she looked back, patient, kind, not pressing me, not judging. Just waiting. And in that moment, the world seemed to shrink to just the two of us in a terminal full of strangers. For the first time in months, maybe years, my heart skipped a beat for someone else. Someone new. Someone real. I had a choice. And the choice terrified me. The announcement echoed through the terminal. Flight 472 from New York has landed at Gate 14. My heart raced. Arav. My boyfriend. The man I had been waiting for hours, rehearsing the perfect smile, imagining the perfect hug. I felt Myra's hand brush mine, just slightly, almost by accident. And in that fleeting contact, my chest tightened. A warmth spread through me I didn't expect, a confusion I couldn't name. I told myself, this is normal. You've been waiting for him. I stood, smoothing my clothes and forcing a smile, practicing the greeting I had imagined all week. But when I walked toward the gate, something inside me hesitated. Arav emerged, dragging his luggage, eyes scanning the crowd. When he saw me, his face lit up with that familiar grin. Relief, affection, expectation, it was all there. And for a moment, I wanted to feel it, to let it fill me. But then, I saw Mira. She was still seated, watching, her expression gentle, not accusatory, just curious. And something in her eyes stopped me. Something real. Something I couldn't ignore. Arav rushed toward me. Ria. I missed you so much. His arms wrapped around me, and I returned the hug out of habit, out of obligation. His scent, once comforting, now felt foreign. Hey, I said softly. His eyes searched mine for the spark that used to be there. And that was it. The spark was gone. I pulled away slightly, heart pounding. Arav, we need to talk. His brow furrowed, confusion mixing with concern. Ria, what's wrong? I glanced back at Mira, who met my gaze with a quiet understanding. No words were needed. I finally knew what my heart wanted, and it wasn't him. The weight of realization hit me. I had been waiting, yes, but not just for a flight. I had been waiting for something real. Something unexpected. And now, it was here. I turned back to Arav, my voice trembling but steady. I can't do this anymore. I thought I could, but I can't. I need to choose someone else. The silence was deafening. People moved around us, rushing by with their own lives, but in this moment, time stood still. Arav looked at me, stunned, hurt, but I couldn't look away from the truth in my own eyes. Mira rose slowly from her seat, walking toward me. Every step felt electric, like the world was rearranging itself to fit the life I wanted. And in that moment, I made my choice. Mira reached my side, her presence grounding me in a way I hadn't felt with Arav for months, maybe even years. Her hand found mine again, this time deliberately, a silent promise. I didn't expect this, I admitted softly, feeling the weight of both relief and fear pressing on my chest. I thought I knew what I wanted. I thought I knew who I loved. She squeezed my hand gently. Sometimes we don't notice the right person until they're right in front of us. Arav's eyes searched mine, desperate for an explanation, for some way to undo the heartbreak in my words. But there was nothing I could say that wouldn't hurt him further. I had tried to ignore the truth for so long, tried to hold on to a relationship that no longer fit me. But now, there was no pretending. I took a deep breath. I can't stay with him. I need to follow what my heart is telling me. And, my heart, it's telling me to be with her. Mira smiled, a warmth spreading through her that made the airport feel less like a cold terminal and more like home. She didn't rush me, didn't demand anything, just offered a quiet certainty I'd never experienced before. Arav swallowed hard, his voice trembling. Ria, if this is what you truly want, his shoulders slumped, pain mingled with resignation. I can't stop you. I hope you find happiness. And somehow, despite the sting of goodbye, I felt lighter. Free. The decision was terrifying, yes, but it was honest. Real. And honesty had a weightlessness to it that I hadn't realized I needed. I turned fully to Mira, our hands entwined. I don't know what comes next, I confessed, a smile breaking through the anxiety. But I want to find out, with you. She leaned closer, her forehead resting against mine, and whispered, then we'll figure it out together. And just like that, amidst the chaos of arrivals and departures, I felt the first stirrings of something extraordinary. A connection that had ignited in the waiting area of an airport, in stolen glances and shared laughter, had now become the path I was choosing to walk. For the first time that day, I didn't feel lost. I felt seen. I felt alive. I had been waiting, yes, but the waiting had brought me exactly where I was meant to be. And this time, I wasn't waiting for anyone. I was choosing her. We left the airport together, our hands still intertwined, a quiet comfort in the warmth of contact. The city lights blurred past as we walked side by side, talking in low voices, sharing laughs that felt lighter than air. Every word, every glance, carried the thrill of discovery, the feeling of stepping into uncharted territory, together. Mira stopped suddenly by a small cafe tucked into a corner street. "Coffee," she suggested, with a playful tilt of her head. I nodded, grateful for the excuse to prolong our time together. Inside, the world felt smaller, safer. We found a corner table and settled into chairs that felt like they'd been waiting for us. We talked about everything. Our favorite books, our guilty pleasures, silly childhood memories. Every story revealed more of who we were, and every shared smile felt like a confirmation. We were exactly where we were meant to be. At one point, I caught her watching me, her eyes soft and thoughtful. "You're different from anyone I've ever met," she said quietly. "I feel like I've known you forever." I felt my heart flutter. "I feel the same," I admitted. I never expected today to turn out like this, but I'm so glad it did. The hours passed unnoticed, filled with warmth and laughter. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the weight of expectations or obligations. There was no pretending, no compromises, only honesty and connection. As the night deepened, we stepped outside. The streets were quieter now, the hum of the city softer, almost intimate. Mira took my hand in both of hers, her touch grounding me, and whispered, "We'll figure this out, Ria. No rush, no pressure. Just us." I smiled, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't realized I'd been craving. The airport, the waiting, the heartbreak, it had all led me here, to this moment, to her. And as we walked into the night, hand in hand, I knew one thing for certain: sometimes, the people you think you're waiting for aren't the ones you're meant to choose. Sometimes, love waits for you where you least expect it. And this was our beginning.